Hey, Michelle, do you sometimes have to miss meetings because life happens?
Oh, of course. It happens. It's natural. It happens to everybody. But we have to think about what to say to get caught up, right, Lindsay?
Exactly. So, guys, in today's episode, we're going to show you some phrases that are super useful, especially for the business world. If you miss a meeting because you have some kind of an emergency, what can you say to your colleague to find out exactly what you missed? Today, you're going to get 4 phrases to do exactly this. Michelle, what should our listeners do before we get started?
Make sure that you hit subscribe on YouTube so that you don't miss any of our videos because we are on YouTube a lot.
All right, let's get into it. Here we go. Hey, Michelle, how's everything going today?
Hey, Lindsay, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm excited to be here. Are we talking about that essential skill of English conversation, right? We have to be able to make a conversation with people around us. Isn't that right?
Oh, absolutely. And some conversations are like big conversations and some conversations, I think most everything counts as a conversation.
Everything counts
if
as a
it,
conversation. Okay. What do you mean
I
by that?
mean, in a way, I don't think that like when we think about English conversation,
Hmm.
sometimes we think about just like the deeper stuff. But I think
Okay.
also just like the things like the functions also count as conversation, right? Just like different
Ah,
kinds of conversation. So today we're
yes.
going to be talking about like a very specific kind of conversation that you need to serve a certain function. So, Lindsay,
Yes.
I have a question. Have you missed anything recently? Maybe there's been like a meeting
Sure.
or a class or
All the
event,
time.
something.
Yeah, this happens all the time. You can't be everywhere at every time, right? You can't
Yeah.
be present for every single thing. So I would need to know, what can I say when I re-enter that group to find out what I missed, right, Michelle? Is that what we're
Right.
honing in on today? Yeah.
Exactly. This is a
Yes.
very specific conversation skill. So, we have to make the appropriate arrangements to be sure that you can ask someone what you
Yes.
missed, right? I mean, Lindsay,
Mhm.
why is this important?
Oh my gosh, because now the conversation is going to change. It's going to advance, and people are going to start talking about that missing piece of information that you don't have. So you need that to be relevant in the conversation now. Otherwise, you're going to sound irrelevant. So it's how to
Oh,
be
yeah,
relevant.
for
Yeah.
sure. How
Mhm.
to be relevant. It also shows, I feel like, that you care about what you missed,
Sure.
right?
Yes.
Like that's like the number one thing that you have to do to show you care. If I
Yeah.
just like start missing things and I'm like, eh, it's like it
Eh,
just it doesn't show that I care to take the time, right?
I agree. So it serves both purposes. It's building relationships and accountability, and also staying up to date for the actual information you need, right? To be able to be relevant in those conversations later that are going to come up.
That's
So
right.
good stuff.
That's exactly right.
Hmm.
Yeah. So today, guys,
Yes.
we are going to be sharing with you a 3-step process about how to do that. But before we do that, we want to remind yourself that we have remind you self. That's an
That is
interesting
an
one.
interesting construction,
We want to
Michelle.
remind you that we have an amazing all ears English app, right, Lindsay?
Yeah, the app is fantastic. Our team selects the keywords, the words that are going to be those vocab words that are going to make you fluent. So you can tap on words right inside the transcript, choose which ones to put in your personal power list, and then go back and study them every day and add to them with every new episode. Guys, go over to allearsenglish.com/app to get that app. We have it for Android and iOS now, Michelle. So we
Hey,
are
we
we are doing it. We're
We
doing it.
did it. We did it. Yep. All right. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to focus mostly on step number 2, but there are 3 steps.
Okay.
Step number 2 is kind of the meat of it, right?
Okay, good.
So, but
Mhm.
step 1 is, acknowledging what happened. I mean, it's the introduction. Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
So,
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty direct, Lindsay. What could you say?
Yeah, so hey or hi, Michelle,
Hmm.
I missed our team meeting last week. Okay. So
Hmm.
just
Hmm.
presenting kind of in a way you're presenting the problem. The problem is that you
Right.
missed it. What did you miss? The team meeting. Okay.
Right. And there are different ways to say that you missed something, and we could do a follow up on,
Yes.
specific for that. But I really wanted to focus on step 2 today. I mean, just for an
Mhm.
example, you could say something like, I wasn't able to attend something, right?
Yes. That
So
sounds a
that's
little more
another way that you
formal,
could
right,
say it.
Michelle?
That's
I wasn't
very
able.
formal. I wasn't
Mhm.
able to attend, or I wasn't able to make something, right? I
Okay,
wasn't
to
able to make
make
it.
it. Mhm. Yep.
So, being direct, explaining, acknowledging what happened, introduction.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh, and the second part is really getting into asking what you missed.
Yes.
And if you need, we're gonna talk about like how to make this more formal in a second.
Okay.
But what are some things that you can say to ask somebody what you missed?
Okay, so guys, in this part of the episode, you're going to want to break out a piece of paper.
Oh yeah.
If you're using the app, many of these will be highlighted, so you'll be able to save them to your personal power list. But break out a piece of paper and a pencil if not, and write these down. Here's the first one, Michelle. Can you catch me up? This is interesting, right? It's very casual, right? Can you catch me up? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And the next one is, can you fill me in?
I love it. Guys, we're getting phrasal verbs here. Okay. So be ready.
Right.
Don't get confused. Just write them down and remember them as chunks, as entire questions in themselves. So next one, can you brief me? And usually after that would come brief me on, right, Michelle, as the preposition. Yeah.
Yeah. You could say brief me on, or you could even just say like, oh yeah, I missed something. Can you brief me? I mean,
I like that one.
You could do that. And that's kind of fun sounding. Like, I don't know. I like that one. I don't
I
say that enough, but I should.
I like it. It sounds like you work at the Pentagon or something. It's very fancy. I feel very important. Can you brief me on that? Right?
You
feel
me on
very
that? Yeah.
high level corner office type deal. So I think it sounds
Lindsay,
professional.
Would you say, can you brief me? Or do you think you only say on something? I think you can say when you brief
I think you can say, can you brief me?
Yeah,
Independently.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it sounds, like I said, very executive like. It has executive undertones. So for our listeners who are in the business world, it's great. Yeah.
Exactly. Or you could say, this is more direct, just what did I miss?
Yes.
So these are good. I mean, Lindsay, to dress these up, we can add a couple words.
Okay.
And then we make the verb an ing. So Lindsay, could you give an example?
Yes.
So what words can we add?
Yeah. So let's go back. Should we go back to catch me up? And
let's go back to catch me up.
We're going to go back now, guys, and show you how to present it in a whole sentence. So here it is. Would you mind catching me up? So when we add would you mind and we make that an ing, what are we doing here, Michelle?
I think we're making it a little bit more polite, a little bit more formal, right? Like, so I might say, can you catch me up to like my friend or my close colleague or something? But if I'm writing it, right, I might say, would you mind catching me up on what I missed or something like that?
Yes, that's an interesting one. And maybe we could do a whole other episode on catch me up, get caught up. These are weird ways to use sometimes a phrasal verb, sometimes not, guys. So stay tuned for another episode on that one in the future. What's next, Michelle?
Can you fill me in? So this one, same idea. Would you mind filling me in?
And we got to always remember to add that ing, guys, for our listeners. When you have would you mind,
you have to
meet the ing. You have to. We say because you say we because we're saying it here. You have to, guys.
You have to do
what else, Michelle? What's the next one? Can you brief me?
Yeah, you could turn that into Lindsay.
Would you mind briefing me? And again, you can see that ing gets added for the grammar. Sounds polite. Sounds nice to a colleague, right?
It does. And then with what did I miss? You can still make that sound polite. You can just say, would you mind telling me what I missed?
Right. We need a special verb there, right? Telling me. Would you mind doing something?
Telling. Right. Okay. Yes. Exactly. We're going to add telling me.
Yes.
Or you could say, would you mind letting me know what I missed? Something like that.
Letting me know. Yeah. There's a few things we could put in there, but guys, write these down, put them in your drawer, at your desk, at your office. So you have them and you're ready. Okay. So important.
And then what's the third step, Lindsay? Easy peasy.
Easy peasy. We got to thank them. You can never say thank you too much, I think, Michelle. People like to be thanked. People like to be appreciated and know that you recognize what you've done, what they've done for you. So thank them. How do we do it, Michelle?
All right. Thank you so much. Or I appreciate it. Or
easy to do.
Any way you thank somebody. Yeah.
So what do you think would actually break the connection here? In this kind of scenario, this setup, Michelle, what could be where would it break?
Well, that's a good question. I think if you didn't thank the person, that would be a big one. Cause like somebody might even get out some notes for you or take the chance to, depending on what it was. Somebody might put effort into catching you up. That's okay. Somebody might actually put effort into that, right? So you want to thank them. Or demanding someone helps you, right? Language that's too direct, like just like, oh, I need to know what I missed.
Right. That's very intrusive. Michelle,
Demanding.
here's a question, flash from the past. In college, did you used to skip classes or not skip? Maybe you missed a class and you would ask friends to catch you
Oh.
up or take notes for you, copy their notes or something. Would you do
Oh,
that in college? All the
of
time.
course.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about all the time, but I certainly, I mean, I think anybody misses things,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
or you have to miss a meeting, you have to miss something. But it's important to get caught up. So what about you,
Yeah.
Lindsay?
Well, yeah, for sure. Once in a while, I had a tennis match or something. To be honest, I went to most of my classes in college. I was
I
kind of
think
a
I did
nerd.
too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. I'll be
Michelle, you
honest.
sound like a partier. I was sleeping in from the night before.
No, oh my gosh, no. I went to most things, but of course people miss things for for certain reasons. But
Yeah.
if I was partying the night before, it like consisted of me just like getting takeout super late at night with my
I see.
friends and
Got it. Got
yeah.
it. So, guys, this
Um,
is useful. I mean, the reason I asked Michelle that these phrases would also really work for that kind of scenario. If you're a student on a college campus, you're in graduate school,
mhm.
and you missed the lecture, you could go to a classmate and ask for this. I think a lot of these would also work for that scenario. What do you think, Michelle?
For that, for even if it was just like a social lunch, right? I mean,
Yeah.
even if like you went out like with a bunch of girlfriends and like somebody said, "Oh, like I didn't get to go," like can you like obviously then it's a little less formal. You're not gonna say it like I wouldn't say to you like, "Oh, Lindsay, would you mind telling me what I missed at like our dinner at
Yeah. Yeah.
Wendy's?" I mean, not
Wendy's. Who
I
goes to
don't know.
Wendy's?
That was the first place that came into my head. But like I would just say like, oh, what did I miss? Like anything
Yeah.
exciting, or it
Yeah.
would be, we can even do a follow up on that more, like
Yeah.
even more casual. But you can, you want to be caught up on anything. Like you can still show that you are interested.
Yeah, for sure, Michelle. Maybe we'll do another one on the social side of this. This is a little bit
Hmm.
more leaning business in
I
my
think
mind,
so
right?
too. A
Briefly
little
is
more
very busy.
business and class. Yeah.
Yeah, but something on the social side. Okay, fill
Yeah.
me in on the gossip. Can you fill me
Yeah.
in on what you heard and what we talked about? So we'll come back to that another
Okay, we're
day,
gonna come
guys.
back to that. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
for sure.
All right,
Okay.
let's do a role play. So we're not gonna use every single example in all of these, but
Okay.
so we're gonna do 2 or
All right.
3.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
here we go.
So in this scenario, Michelle, you and I are classmates, and I missed the
Mhm.
class. Oh, look at that. It's a perfect scenario, what we talked about earlier, right? Hey,
Exactly.
Michelle, I missed class yesterday because I had a doctor's appointment. Can you fill me in on what I missed?
Oh yeah, sure, Lindsay. Oh, I hope everything's okay. I can show you my notes later.
Thank you so much. All
All right.
right, good. That
So
sounds
yes.
pretty standard. Hmm.
Exactly. And in this one, I missed a work meeting. We're colleagues.
Okay.
So, all right. So I say, "Hi, Lindsay. I missed the meeting yesterday, unfortunately. Can you brief me on what I missed?"
Sure, Michelle. We went over the records and spoke about new strategies. I took some notes if you want to meet me at my desk later.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, so this doesn't have to be a drawn out thing. Guys, don't be nervous. Don't be afraid to ask for help. I think that's the key, right,
I
Michelle?
think so too. Well, my question for you is like, if you are explaining that you missed something, do you have to share your excuse? And the first one I did, I
No.
said, you did. You said you had a doctor's appointment. And the second
Right.
one, I didn't. Do you have to share your excuse?
I definitely don't think you do.
Yeah.
I don't think you do. And I think in many cases, people don't want to know the details, right? Especially in the business world. We're busy. They just want to help you and move on. So they don't need to know why you missed it, right?
Yeah.
Unless you're close to the person as kind of a friend and colleague. Maybe you had
Right.
a commentary. I went to the doctor, but I
Yeah.
feeling sick, whatever, right? But just
Yeah.
keep the details out as much as possible. I would say, Michelle. Do you agree with that? It's
Yeah.
kind of a personality thing too.
Yeah, I think sometimes it can be helpful. So like
Mhm.
this is deep. I feel like we could get deep
Deep
on this. Like or
conversation.
like wait, we could really think this through a lot. But
We
I
could.
think you have to really just think about whether this could information could help you in some way.
Yeah.
Help explain the situation in some way. Like let's say you've missed like this like the second thing you've missed.
Yeah, if you keep missing.
Um
Mhm,
yeah, if you
mhm,
keep
mhm.
missing things, like you might have to like justify. You don't want to just like the first
Right.
time say, "Sorry, I missed it. What did I miss?" And then like the second
Yes.
time say, "Oh, sorry, I couldn't be there. What did I miss?" Then it
Yeah, yeah.
starts to sound like, "Yeah."
That's a good point. So at some point, you're gonna have to tune people in, catch them up on what's going on in your life. What
Yeah,
is this thing that's happening? Maybe a parent is sick or something, right?
yeah,
And you have to take them to the hospital on a regular basis. That could be a good excuse. And then they would have more empathy for you. They'd understand why you're not able to be there.
Yeah.
Right?
So I do think that it can be helpful sometimes. Lindsay, do we have time for one more or no?
Sure. Let's throw it in real
Let's
quick.
throw it
Here you
in.
go,
All right.
Michelle.
This one's
Okay.
a little bit more formal. So here I missed a work conference and I'm
Okay.
asking my coworker, and I don't know this coworker very well. Lindsay, you're the coworker. Here we go.
Okay. Here we go. Mhm.
Okay. Oh, hi, Lindsay. Hello, Lindsay. Sorry. I'm going to start again. Here we go. Hello, Lindsay. I hope you enjoyed the conference.
It was great. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to be there because I had a family emergency. Would you mind filling me in on some of what I missed?
Oh, sure, Michelle. I'd have to get my notes. I also have some of the information that was passed out at the presentations.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah. So this is a little bit more formal because we don't know each other. It's unfamiliar, right? There's no like real
Mhm.
warmth between us. It's very neutral, I would say.
Right, right, right. Yeah, so here I did give the excuse. I didn't have to, but like certainly
Mhm.
let's make that person empathize with me a
Yeah.
little bit. Like it might be easier to get the
The
information if you
notes.
share something that's going on, you know?
Sure, sure. So just on a case by case basis, guys, whether or not you're going to share more and how well you know the person, what your relationship is, a lot of factors. And our listeners know this in their native language. So, guys, it's the same idea. All right. So good. Should we
Exactly,
go through
exactly.
any of these, Michelle? Should we go back into any of these role plays? What do you think?
Should we go specifically back?
What do
I
you
guess
think? Do
so.
you want to review them or do we need, what do you think?
We can it's getting on time, but let's quickly let's just say in the first one, sure,
Okay.
let's do it. Okay, in the first one you said hi, that was the introduction. Then you
Mm-hmm.
said what you missed. You said I missed class yesterday because I had a doctor's appointment. Can you
Mm-hmm.
fill me in on what I missed to
Yep.
ask? Then
Good.
step 3 was you said
Thank
thank
you
you
so
so much.
much. Good.
Mhm.
Yeah, and guys, again, can you fill me in on? That's the construction that we taught you earlier in the episode. So write that down if you haven't yet. And in the second role play, just real quick for our listeners, I said, or you said, "Hi, Lindsay. I missed the meeting yesterday, unfortunately." And we could talk in another episode, Michelle,
Not
about
using
adding that
that.
on. That's a good one. That's a good one to
Yeah.
think about for our listeners. Can you brief me on what I missed? So can you
Yes.
brief me on, guys? Okay. So
And
good.
then I thanked you.
Thank
Yes.
you. Yeah, perfect. And the last one, what did we say
The
here?
last one, I said hello, Lindsay, as my
Mhm.
introduction. Hello was a little more formal, but I could
That's
have said
formal.
hi. It's fine too.
Mhm.
And then I said, unfortunately, see, I wasn't able to
Oh,
be there because I had a family emergency. So I stated the excuse in this situation. And then I said, would you mind filling me in on some of what I missed? And then you were
and
very nice, and I thanked you.
thank you so much. So good. Guys, this is great. What's a takeaway for our listeners to come away from this episode with, Michelle?
Guys, this is very, very useful. You know, there are things that you can do, like if somebody doesn't offer the information, you can even say things like, were there any notes? Like, did we
Mhm.
go over this? Should I check in with this person? We can do tons of follow-ups on this. There's a lot,
Sure.
but we can't be everywhere at once, as Lindsay said. But the key is to catch up on what we missed in order to succeed and show that we care and
And
be
at the same
relevant.
exactly, Michelle, at the same time, maintain those business relationships, right? You get the
Mhm.
information, you can be relevant when that topic comes up again at the next meeting the week after, and you still have
Right.
that tight relationship with your colleague or a respectful relationship. So good. All right, Michelle.
Exactly.
Remember, guys, go over to allearsenglish.com/app to be able to get your personal power list of these words, right? So you can have them right on your phones. You don't have to scribble them down and write them down and lose the paper.
Yeah, 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 exactly. That's awesome. Lindsay, this was so much fun. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.
All right. Talk soon, Michelle. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.